Hello, America, FBI and CIA agents and fellow cult members. Welcome back to another episode of OnlyFans on Trial. Now, you know I love to title my episodes, so today's title is When Left Meets Right, Common Sense Always Wins the Fight. So today I'll be reacting to a heated debate between conservative commentator Charlie Kirk versus OnlyFans models and, of course, a garden variety assortment of the type of girls that frequently visit the Whatever podcast. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm just curious, when would you guys say human life begins?
That's like a philosophical question for the ages.
When there's a heartbeat.
Just casually asked.
When there's a heartbeat.
Or no, I guess in the
See,
uterus.
now we have three different answers. So we have I will presume, a group of women, because you all self-described as women. I'm kidding. When does life begin?
Heartbeat.
I'm gonna still say at birth, even though I know that your cells can be formed in a brain and stuff in the uterus. But yeah, I think you're not fully a human until you're born.
Wow. I don't know your thoughts on that, but I know mine. Not quite. I'll say at conception.
Okay. And you said heartbeat, right? Okay.
I think it's very difficult to answer. I think mostly consciousness and personhood is really what people are seeking to identify. And I believe, I'm sure you happen to know, how many weeks was a full term of pregnancy?
It's a good question. I know very well. It's about 38, 39 weeks. 40 is like at the furthest of gestation.
40 weeks. So as far as I know, around 30 weeks is when you see typically most development of the fetus has taken place. So I would say around
way
there.
earlier than that, but yeah. So heartbeat is right around 6 weeks. Brain waves are even before that. And you could do an ultrasound at right around, you could start to do ultrasounds at 8 weeks and you could see the full being right around 12 weeks. And right around 25, 26 weeks are now the earliest cases we have of babies that are able to survive outside of the womb. Does anyone have any other answers on that?
No, I mean, I'm not educated scientifically enough about the biology.
Educated scientifically? What is scientific about this question? When does life begin? At conception. This is going to be interesting.
Of all of it, but I agree. I think that life is a very subjective term. You could say when does the infant's body in the womb start functioning, or you could say when do they start perceiving their consciousness.
Wow, life is a subjective term. Do you notice something? Both of these girls, the dark-haired girl with the glasses and this one, and the one in the red, it's like these women today of this generation, they try and sound so intelligent. I'm such an intellect, but we really make no sense. It's a basic question. When does life begin? It's called conception. When did that ever become a debate?
And for me, it's when they start perceiving their consciousness, but truly I have no idea when that is. Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would be important to, let me ask you this, if you knew for certain the baby, would you agree it's a baby? Is that a good term to use if it's in a womb? Is that a baby?
I think most people would say fetus. Probably fetus, yeah.
Okay, so what does fetus mean in Latin?
I think a fetus is a growing child. It's a developing...
You're right.
It's a growing child. Didn't she just say it? He's good.
Right. Molly, it means a little human.
Yeah. Little human.
It's just, using fetus is nothing more than a cope for what you know it is. It's a baby, right? So it's just...
Obviously not if we're here debating it. I don't think it's as settled
then you don't have to use the word fetus. This makes people feel better. It's obviously a baby.
No, obviously you would...
That girl feels really dumb right now.
A fetus that just has a heart and their brain isn't fully formed and be that's the same as a 1 month old. Yeah. We obviously see differences between development from then and there.
So, but then how about 30 weeks?
That's where it becomes a lot more contentious. Mm-hmm. But the point being is that we don't look at a fetus from its beginning stages and be yeah, that's the same thing as my 3-month-old cousin.
Hold on,
What is she talking about? I don't understand this generation of women who just constantly debate this stuff. It starts at conception. There is no other answer. A fetus is a baby. It's the same thing.
A 9-month-old is not the same thing as a 1-month-old.
Okay,
Good point. Let me bring that back.
Same thing as my like 3-month-old
Well,
cousin.
hold on. That's a 9-month-old is not the same thing as a 1-month-old.
Okay,
right? So you can go through the progression of development continues. The question is, when does it start?
Yeah, that's $1 million question. I agree with that.
So
Do you think conception?
Of course, that's the only answer.
Most women, I don't believe, even know that they're pregnant before 6 weeks.
But
So
What does that have to do with when life starts?
like around like the heartbeat
yeah,
and
but
stuff like that.
the knowledge of your pregnancy doesn't mean that you're not pregnant.
No. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like practicality wise, there are many instances of women who have miscarriages without even ever knowing, because it might just present as like a very heavy cycle that month.
That's fine, but it doesn't make it any less a life, right? Sure, go ahead, Molly.
No, but do you mourn that miscarriage in the same way you
course,
mourn like
100%,
an
yes.
abortion, like a conscious
Not the same
choice?
way. No, it's not the same way. No, but it's still a tragedy. A miscarriage is a tragedy, but
So
an
do you
abortion.
Even if she doesn't know about it?
But an abortion is an act of human will. A miscarriage most times is not. Now, sometimes it can be a miscarriage because you drank alcohol and you didn't know you were pregnant, or you might have taken a drug that had side effects. But yes, a miscarriage is a tragedy, yes.
I have a question. So, do you care about the children once they're born?
I mean, I care a lot about them, yeah.
So, if say a woman got R-worded or something, or even if she just got pregnant and
Grid 1
wanna
Motorsports
keep
donated $200.
Right?
Life is not subjective, and we know this because you were speaking of killing.
Yeah, just
Why is it so easy for you ladies to kill kids?
Ooh, that's a good one. Life is not subjective because you are speaking of killing it. Wow, that's a good one. Whoever super chatted that, spot on.
Your comfort and
Let me bring it back just a hair.
of killing.
yeah, just
Why is it so easy for you ladies to kill kids? If your comfort and
good faith
lifestyle
question.
more important than the life you have created.
anyway, my question what was I saying? Oh, if
you were
yeah,
saying
so
if somebody was
Oh my God. Hold on. Wait. Do you notice anything here? So that super chat just came in. That's a pretty powerful statement that whoever sent that $200 made. You would think these girls would feel embarrassed. This girl is like, okay, well, whatever. What was I saying here? It's like they have no emotions anymore. How did this happen? No regard for life. No empathy. No feelings. No nothing. Just cold women, feminists. This is the result of like Hillary Clinton and Margaret Sanger, who is Hillary Clinton's idol. I mean, this is crazy.
someone got,
someone
like,
forced
R-worded
sex
or-
upon themselves. It's the word you're.
even
Yeah.
like not even just that, but say like if the mother like was homeless or something, say like she didn't have a good life, do you still think that child deserves to be brought into the world just to suffer?
Well, so it's not a guarantee of suffering. Number one. One second.
Oh, wait a second. Do you know how ridiculous what she's saying is? Do you know how many people were brought into this world by somebody being sexually assaulted, by a mother that was homeless and became doctors, scientists, somebody that probably saved her life at one point? Do you realize how nuts that statement is? So if you're poor, you should get an abortion. Do you realize what she's saying? I mean, let's think about this. Let's define poor. What does that mean? You don't have a certain amount of money in your bank account? Scary times we're in.
1 second. The answer is yes. The life should be brought into the world. There are twice as many people on the adoption waiting list.
There's so many people.
Well, let me ask you guys. And I'm just curious. How many abortions do you think there are a year in America?
I have
Tens of thousands, I assume.
Any other guesses?
I have no clue.
What if I told you there was over 1 million abortions every year?
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
But you went from tens of thousands to 1 million.
I mean, there's billions of people on the
No.
on the
Yeah, there's 340 million in America. That's right. No, but do you think does it?
As far as like reported ones, because even just
that doesn't
reported
count-
data is going to be incomplete.
That
because
doesn't count mifepristone, which is the chemical abortion that people
Right.
get at home. It doesn't count Plan B, right? So,
And even if like abortion were illegal, for example, we stopped gathering data on like who procures abortions, there would be so many. There's so many now, even with states where it's still legal.
Texas, it's gone down dramatically. So hundreds of thousands.
No, they're still happening. It's just
no, they're happening,
not being accounted
but
for.
90%
Women are just doing it to themselves.
Right. It's a 90% abortion reduction rate in Texas. I don't want to dwell on that too much, though. So there's 1 million abortions every single year.
First of all, that's sad. 1 million abortions a year. This is ridiculous. This is where we are in society today. No respect, no regard. They don't care, no feelings. I mean, can you imagine? It's like you're openly just talking about how you're for abortion. There was a time where if somebody had an abortion, they would never tell. It would be like the worst thing on earth to even speak of it. This is nuts.
And there's twice as many people on the there's 2 million people actively on the adoption waiting list. So there's really no such thing currently, there could be, but currently, of an unwanted child. So there's 2 million people wanting to adopt, and there's 1 million people that have abortions every single year. So there's twice as many people that want to get a child. Now, there's a longer conversation about making it less bureaucratic without allowing bad people to adopt kids for bad reasons. I'm perfectly open for that conversation. But to answer your question, I don't love the premise. It's a really good question because a lot of people have it. I don't necessarily believe being born in poverty is a death sentence or is a reason to terminate. No. But abortion is a death sentence. So I don't think poverty should give you a death sentence.
Would you say abortion is murder?
Oh, of course, 100%.
Do you think that people who procure abortions, women specifically,
Yes.
a woman who procures an abortion should go to jail for getting one?
Absolutely, yeah. They're the moral equivalent of Auschwitz.
Really?
Yeah.
He's right. He's right. You're killing a being, a child. Where have we gone? First of all, go Charlie. I mean, these girls are not the brightest.
Millions of women are
not
basically the same as like Nazi
Not the women.
death
No,
camp guards.
the women are victims. They're lied to. 90% of women do not see an ultrasound before they have an abortion. They have no idea what's happening to them. They're the victims here. It is the abortionists that are doing this. But let me ask you, and I mean this, have you guys ever seen an abortion on a video?
Wait, sorry. If women are the victims here, why should they be jailed?
Well, I don't believe they should be jailed. I think the abortionists,
How is it that
the abortionists,
you believe
the
that
doctors,
abortion is murder, but a murderer shouldn't go to jail?
I didn't say that. The doctors, the abortionists, the people that call themselves doctors, the people that put women under general anesthesia and go into.
But women do. They ask.
They are doctors. They're medical.
Are you going to just discount the accountability of the women in that decision?
My current perspective is because the women are not given what is called informed consent, that the women should not be penalized. They should not be. They shouldn't be penalized. In fact, they should be given grace from a system that has lied to them and has misled them. They are not given the full picture of exactly what's happening to them. Informed consent has not happened. So these women are the victims. The abortionists, one second, the abortionists are the ones that know exactly what's happening. And if you haven't seen a video of an abortion, I'm not going to say anything too graphic. It is one of the hardest things to watch. The baby fights, the baby struggles, the baby dodges, the baby avoids. They break the neck of the baby. They euthanize it to the spring. It's not a joke. Sorry. And then they tear it limb from limb through there. If you're trying to tell me that's,
that's like a.
If you're talking about, like they're called dilation and extraction abortions.
No.
Yes,
Hold on a second.
Like
a baby has a backbone.
Here we go with this girl trying to be a doctor, some sort of, you're actually debating what he's saying. First of all, let me just say this. I had no idea what an abortion actually was, okay? Until I saw a movie a few years back called Unplanned. It was mind-boggling, okay? And the school systems, entertainment, corporations, okay? They are brainwashing these girls. The Hillary Clintons, the Margaret Sangers, all of these people. First of all, there's a lot of money in abortion. I never knew that either. The fetus, the amount of money they sell the fetuses. I mean, in pieces, if it's together, if the longer they wait to abort the baby, the more you get for it. Research, science, stem cells. I mean, this is nuts. This is the most volatile thing I have ever seen in a movie theater. I was sick to my stomach. Everything that he just described, and I'm going to bring it back. Everything that he just described here is actually what happens in an actual abortion. I was literally sick to my stomach. I actually cried, which made me sick to my stomach to know that these girls are going into these abortion clinics and they have no idea what is actually about to happen to them. No idea.
Things to watch. The baby fights, the baby struggles, the baby dodges, the baby avoids, they break the neck of the baby, they euthanize it to the spring. It's not a joke.
Sorry.
And then they tear it limb from limb through there. If you're trying to tell me that's,
That's like a.
If you're talking about, like they're
Hold on,
called
no.
dilation and extraction abortions.
No.
then yes,
Hold
it
on a
can look like
second.
that.
A
But if
baby,
you're talking
a baby
about,
has a backbone at 6 weeks and a spine. It has a complete figure. It's small. It's like probably as small
the
as.
size of like a grape, yeah.
Yes, but by 8 weeks or 12 weeks, and you're talking about.
The vast majority of abortions are performed in the first trimester.
Yeah, that's right.
So when you just
so when
a type of abortion that you describe
trimester
is
is up to
literally
12 weeks.
like minority
Well,
of
hold
the
on a
time,
second.
and those are wanted pregnancies
you
because
said they
usually
don't-
those women want those pregnancies. They weren't able.
They
to
don't
carry
know
them
they're
to term
pregnant till they're 6 weeks,
because
to your point.
they weren't able to carry those children to term because of health risks to their own life or to the infants.
Right.
When did we start making God's decisions? If a body, a being, a human being, if your body as a woman cannot carry a pregnancy to its term, don't you think nature is going to handle that? And so we're here deciding who lives and who dies now? This is nuts. These girls, this girl especially with the black hair, she has just doesn't care. Who raises these women? Where are their parents? I'd love to know.
So, without getting into that, no infant should be terminated because of health risk to the infant. Okay, that's insane. It's like you're going to kill the baby because the baby has health risks. That doesn't-
Not just health risks. These are
Oh, let me ask you.
these are medical.
Hold on, Down syndrome.
like
should we
stillbirths
abort
or-
Down syndrome kids?
No.
Iceland has. They said if you have Down syndrome, you're done. So that's not a new phenomenon. They have gotten rid of Down syndrome. If you have a DNA test of Down syndrome, they abort the kid. I think that's cruel and unusual.
Wow, I did not know that. That is beyond cruel and unusual. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we agree. Good.
I think there are frivolous reasons to procure abortions, but I don't believe that just because there are frivolous reasons to get them, that means it should be outlawed.
But should murder be outlawed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like you were saying,
Then
you even though you believe that those women have a hand in committing the murder and infanticide,
they
basically,
don't-
of their own children, they shouldn't go to jail.
believe that they have not been given informed consent.
Do
They
you
don't
have
know
that
what's
opinion
happening
with
to them.
people who are addicted to drugs? Do you think only
I
drug
think-
dealers should go to jail, but not
Well,
people who actually try to buy drugs and
Well,
consume
it
them?
depends. It depends what drug it is. It depends the category, the class, the
Is there a
repetition.
single drug where you would say that somebody who is buying and consuming drugs that they are addicted to should not be going to jail, but only their drug dealer should be going to jail?
I mean, I think fentanyl and heroin potentially, but it's a completely separate issue because a lot of people know the informed consent of heroin and fentanyl. It's not like we have PSAs, we have billboards. Stop using.
Wow, good point. Good point. See, he's making a really, really good point. It's what I was saying until I saw the movie Unplanned. We all know what happens when you're doing meth, when you're doing fentanyl, when you're shooting up whatever you're doing. I mean, come to Manhattan, come to Park Avenue. You see people on the streets that smoke crack, what they look like, hello. We all know, we're informed. Abortions, it's insane how many people just are totally oblivious to what an abortion actually is, how it affects your body, and what you are actually doing to a child inside of you, and how that being is reacting and fighting the act of the abortion. It is so disheartening. It is so sad.
Fentanyl. Stop doing fentanyl. How many times have you heard that? Have you ever?
But they have a
Hold
chemical
on a
dependency
second.
now that prevents them
Hold on
from
a
being
second.
able to make that
How
choice.
often have we ever had an honest conversation with women in this country saying that having an abortion increases the chances for depression, anxiety, medication dependence?
So does having a kid.
Well, hold on.
Wow, maybe I didn't realize that either. That explains why there's so much depression today in these women. Everybody's depressed. Everybody needs an antidepressant and a psychologist and a psychiatrist. How did people live back in the day? Seriously, how did people in the 1800s, how did we exist? How did human beings exist without medication for this, medication for that? Ozempic, now I have to take a shot to lose weight because I can't control my overeating. I mean, what is society today? Insane.
Having children carries all of those same risks.
You think having children? You think having children?
No,
is,
don't mischaracterize me.
No, that's not true at
I'm
all.
not going to say that
Women-
having a child necessarily gives you depression
Women who
or
have
any of
children-
that.
That's what she said.
It can come with it. Like postpartum depression, for example, is extremely common.
It's temporary and short-lived, and obviously
Not always.
Some
Some
people last
So
years.
is the depression
that's
from
temporary and short-lived. That's not permanent.
Do you
Yeah,
think
but when you're in
years
that,
of living
you're
with
not-
postpartum depression can simply constitute a temporary
Wait, so
medical issue?
Let's theoretically even grant. So you're saying because of potential postpartum depression or financial burdens, the moral answer is allow women to go in.
No, that was never
to
my
clinics.
argument. This had
Okay.
nothing to do with morality. This was a completely separate question. I'm only saying that I feel like you're trivializing and downplaying how serious conditions like postpartum depression can be when you want to write it off as like a temporary
obviously-
medical
it's obviously
issue
real.
when
It's-
it can be years-long battle.
Look,
especially if it's
having
left
children is a
untreated.
serious choice. So what percentage of abortions, according to the Guttmacher Institute, are not rape, not incest, and not life of the mother? What percentage would you
Probably
say?
the vast majority.
97%.
Yeah.
So is abortion now birth control, yes or no?
No, I don't think so.
I think
But-
that's situational to each and every.
Molly, do you think that birth control, it could be called birth control in certain
Because
situations?
you're talking about over 1 million abortions, but there's tens of millions of women that are on birth control, that have IUDs, that take birth control pills. So obviously, that's not the only reason why.
But it's a form of birth control, is it
It's a
not?
form of birth
Because
control,
they're
sure,
not,
but
they're, all-
you acknowledge that it's not the predominant form of birth control.
Well, no, I didn't say that. No, hold on. I said it's birth control.
Yeah, but we're not disagreeing with the category.
Hold on.
I'm talking
So
about the
therefore,
prevalency of
if
it.
it's birth control, then why would we allow it to continue if it's not? If you put the rape, incest, life, the mother, which we can debate.
I
which
didn't.
But no, I'm going to put that aside for a second. Then why should we allow a horrific procedure to continue that has such heavy and dire consequences and results in a child not being able to live outside of the womb?
Because that's
You're
the mother's
loading it
choice.
so much by saying a
Okay.
horrific procedure.
Hold on,
Most
so-
women who procure abortions actually report being happy long term because they made the choice, because there's many different reasons why women get abortions. Some women aren't in a financial position to have a child at that time, and actually
Then why are you having sex? First of all, let's talk about birth control. That's bad enough. I don't believe in birth control. I've never taken it and I never will. It's chemicals. What are you doing to your body? Okay? Having children is a choice. Okay? We have to be adults at some point. And this is the problem. These kids are all having sex at, 12, 13 years old because the parents are not parenting anymore. This is what happens when the government, which is the school system, raises your children. This is what happens to your girls. They're lied to and they end up here. Look at this. What is the future of these women sitting here? What are their futures? Let's think about this. Do you think this is attractive to a man? Hearing them talk like this? Seriously, think about it. It makes no sense. So we already have condoms, birth control, which is ridiculous, okay? That's not good enough. That's bad enough as it is, but we have to add abortions to it. And how many people do you hear that get multiple abortions over and over and over and over again? It's crazy.
decide to have children later.
How'd they get pregnant?
What do you mean? They had sex unprotected or an accident.
So they want the orgasm without the responsibility.
Do you think the majority of women?
That is so good. That is so good. The orgasm without the responsibility. That is so good.
They had sex unprotected or an accident.
So they want the orgasm without the responsibility.
Do you think the majority of women are having orgasms in sex? Are you serious? Have you seen the studies on orgasm gaps between men and women?
I'll be honest. So they want all the pleasure.
Oh, did you hear what she just said? This is so sad. You're having sex and you're not even getting anything out of it? Yeah, because you feel like crap, because you know you shouldn't be doing it, because you're not doing it with someone that you actually probably care about. Okay? This is feminism. Feminism is actually slowly bringing us into, the 1800s. I mean, Handmaid's Tale. We're actually going to be back there because of these feminists. Because eventually men are not going to put up with this anymore. You see how that works?
They want all, but It's you want all the loose lifestyle, but none of the responsibility.
Now you're framing it like the punishment for having it should
Hold
like
on, it's a
orgasm should be
punishment?
punished. No, the way that you're framing it, which
No,
is
it's
that
not a punishment.
oh, you
It's
want
called
the
a cost.
loosey-goosey parts of sex,
Hold
like
on.
the orgasm,
If you-
but you don't want the responsibility of a child. It's like, yeah, some people want to be able to have sex.
Okay, no, you articulate it
not have
perfectly.
kids.
I'm going to be able to have sex how I want, and if I have to go put a dagger through, or have someone put a dagger through a child for me, then so be it.
Sure, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that you're being morally clear, and basically it's my body. I can do whatever I want with it, even though. Let me ask you a question.
Even though, like I said,
if
most
it's-
women don't regret their abortions at all. Like the vast majority of women report happiness and being okay with their decision.
I
I'm sure
find
you
that
think that they're lying or they're indoctrinated.
Wait a minute. He was just saying it's my body. So it's this my body, my choice, right? My body, my choice. What about the men? When are men gonna have a choice? You see how this works? I don't think that anybody that's ever had an abortion, I mean, we're in some weird times here. Apparently, a whole slew of things can happen, apparently. Men can have babies now and so on and so forth. Like, really? What I'm saying is, you cannot get pregnant alone. It takes a male and a female. So why is it that the female gets to make the choice? Seriously. Why is it that the female gets to make a choice? Think about it. How does a man feel that maybe got someone pregnant, the girl went and had an abortion, told him after the fact? Can you imagine how that feels? There's absolutely nothing that you can do. She literally killed your child with you having zero say. And even if you didn't want her to, it's still her choice. We are in unprecedented times.
So,
Or
but
delusional,
if it's
yeah.
not your DNA, how is it your choice?
What?
If it's not your DNA, why is it your choice?
It is.
No, it's the baby has its own
the child
DNA.
to gestation.
Ooh,
DNA.
interesting.
Lying or they're indoctrinated or
So,
wrong or
but
delusional.
if it's
yeah.
not your DNA, how is it your choice?
What?
If it's not your DNA, why is it your choice?
It is.
No, it's the baby has its own
the child
DNA.
to
Your
gestation.
partner's DNA, and then it forms into
It has its own unique DNA that's not yours.
It's part of your DNA.
Wow, that is very, very interesting. Charlie Kirk is on another level here. What he is saying is that the baby has its own DNA. So you're making a choice not only for the man who impregnated you, which you did that together, you're also making the choice as the female. The female is making the choice for the child as well, for the being. That is crazy. So you're making choices for two people. And the law's allowing it? Not so much anymore.
It's 50-50.
It's half. Oh, so should the man then be able to have veto power over abortion?
Well, the point is the man isn't the one incubating child. So
But I thought if it's about
like,
DNA.
if you
but
get
I never made the DNA argument. You did. The argument that I was going to make was, or I was going to ask you the question, do you think another person has a right to your life and your body?
Does another person have a right to? Well, technically, because abortion was legal when I was in utero, someone did have a right to my life and body.
Oh, hey.
And my mom chose life. Praise God. So did all your moms.
Yeah.
my mom
the
actually wanted an
argument.
abortion.
Are you glad that she didn't have an abortion?
No,
So you would rather be dead?
I don't know. I mean, life can be
If she
difficult. I'm
didn't
not going to
exist,
be. I'm
you
not
would
gonna
not
that
be able
deep.
to even
Some
know what you
asteroid on
never,
that one.
Yeah.
what you never materialized.
Wow. Depression. These girls are so brainwashed. It's scary because these young women are going to be our future. This is the scariest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a group of such hive minds in my life that are just totally controlled by the school system, by the government, by the media, entertainment. Take off your clothes, do this, be promiscuous, sleep around. You can do what men do. First of all, women have a purpose here on earth, okay? Men have a purpose. We do different things. There are things that women just cannot do. They're learning that the hard way with, let's say, the sports, okay? You're not going to outrun a man. You're not going to do it. It's not physically possible. You're not going to do it. Okay, 9 times out of 10. This feminist ideology that these people have, which is really a religion, by the way, this is a religion because they are passionate about this. This is taking women back thousands of years. Who knows where we'll be if this continues? Would love to know your thoughts in the comments on this one. I'm pro-life. I don't believe in birth control. I think that having children is a responsibility and a choice, and that we need a lot more God in our lives today. I hope you liked this reaction. Charlie Kirk, gotta love you. All right, I'm Dubrava. See you next time.